Yo, what's going on, people? It's your boy Uche again. So the topic on Diddy, it's a very multifaceted, multi-factored one. I think I need to go live to actually break it down, because breaking it down in a video is probably going to be way more too complicated than not. But basically, essentially, this ties down to my philosophy on capitalism being a perversion. So basically, the perversion of capitalism promises you that more is more, and my philosophy says no, more is less, and less is more. Okay, but the capitalism, the perversion of it, tells you the more money you have, the better for you. And there's so much wrong with that. Again, I feel like it's better to break it down in during a live session as to what's really wrong with it, so you can see the mathematics of why the Bible said that it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to make it to heaven. Like, it's not anything woo-hoo. Of course, you can look at it from a spiritual perspective, but you can also look at it from a realistic and pragmatic perspective. The issue that I have with it from a more realistic perspective is what that kind of money, what that kind of wealth does to the human mind. The human mind, remember, the human mind is a fallen entity, a fallen phenomenon. It's a phenomenon on its own. It's not real. It's a fallen being, if you want to call it that. It's a reduced form of being, So as a result, you are fallible by default. There are different things that your human mind naturally gravitate towards, and the karma of your manifestation keeps you in a bubble of privilege. It doesn't necessarily look like privilege to you, but it puts you in a bubble of privilege to make sure that certain things within your human mind don't consume it. But if you listen to the illusion of capitalism and push and believe that more is more, then it becomes a problem, because the more we're talking about here is money, okay? And in this world, this realm, this day and age, money is power. So the more money you want, the more power you want. And the more power you want, the more you want to be like God. And you cannot be like God. So therefore, you are naturally and spiritually deviating from God. And that because you are naturally and physically and spiritually deviating from God, a lot of those things, those demons, if you want to call it that is very much indicative of a human mind. Hence why we are fallen beings. The more of those things come out to play. So essentially what's happening to Diddy is a reminder of why you should not want to be a billionaire. And you shouldn't try to be a billionaire, okay? Millionaire, billionaire, those are not the same. In my opinion, to be a millionaire is not wealth in America. That you're just rich, okay? Wealth is being a billionaire, okay? So far, we don't have a trillionaire. We just have billionaire. That is wealth. Riches, wealth, two different things. Riches is loud. I don't know if you guys have heard that, riches is loud, wealth is silent. The reason why riches is loud is because riches is still part of the capitalist system. It has to keep with the rat race. It's just moving faster, right? Hence why it's able to maintain something that looks like a bigger piece of the pie. But you're still within that rat race. This would be your celebrities, the rappers and things like that. When they don't drop a song, drop an album, they're not making money. So they have to constantly, sometimes even desperately, release albums, release songs to the point that they have ghostwriters and, they have beef battles and things like that. So that is riches. You're part of the slave system, the capitalist slave system. You just don't realize it yet because it promises you a bigger comfort, a more comfortable life. But you're still part of it and you're just moving faster. And because you're moving faster, you see a bigger piece of the pie. That is why it's loud. Wealth, though, is quiet. Wealth is quiet because wealth knows something that you don't know. And what that thing that wealth knows that you don't know is why wealth is wealthy, okay? So the person in the rat race, the millionaire, is in a millionaire because they believe that if they work hard enough, they will become wealthy like the billionaire. But you're still part of the slave system for the billionaire. So this will be the record labels, the old white men that own these record labels. When you hear a rapper rap and talking about how they and do, I'm not trying to say those words, chat, because I know these algorithm, okay? What you know is a rapper who flosses their BMWs or BBS or, Gucci and this and that. That's what you see. Those are rich people who are making noise. But what you don't see is the wealthy labels behind them that you don't know shit about. These are people who can just drop $100,000 in one day because it's nothing to them. They don't have to ever work. The money makes money to them. So they're quiet. They're quiet because the more they speak, the less money they make. They have to be quiet about how they make money. They make money by convincing you, lying to you, that the more of a rat race you're in, the more likely you are to be like them. But these are, the slave masters. They're keeping you as a slave and they're benefiting from your slavery. That's why wealth is quiet. Wealth is also quiet or silent or whispers because wealth is long, okay? Because it's generational. So you have to be very quiet so that you can pass down the information to your next generation so that they can continue the train of wealth. The difference between riches and wealth is dependent on a country's GDP, okay? So millionaire is not wealth in America, but billionaire is. This is because of America's GDP. This is relative to the GDP of the country. So a millionaire in a whole different country might be actually wealthy. Most people would never become wealthy, as in billionaires in America. Most people would never become wealthy in their society. That's a good thing. Of course, depending on what perspective you like to look at it from. I like to look at it from a good perspective. And this is because of your karma. Your karma will not let you become a billionaire or become wealthy in America, for example, more than likely, because your karma would induce suffering to keep you humble. So it's up to you. Do you want to keep suffering just so you can become wealthy, or do you want to surrender, let go, and let God? It's up to you. So that's why your karma is pumping so much pain and misery and suffering to you. But capitalism tells you, well, that pain that you feel is hard work. Just keep hard working and this and that. Hence why these rat race people, the millionaires, are constantly in all kinds of fuck shit. And capitalism tells you, rewards you with the Grammys and the Emmys and the awards and the Oscars, and inside your head you think you are doing it right. You're doing whatever, you are in alignment with this capitalist bullshit, but you are exuding so much energy to keep up with the Joneses because someone has lied to you that you can become a billionaire, a wealthy person. The harder you work, the more suffering your karma brings to you. So to me, it's not worth it. And this is why the Bible also said it's not worth it. What do you gain when you gain the world, but then you lose the one thing that matters the most to you, which is your soul? The interesting thing, though, is that most people will not realize this happening, okay? You will not necessarily realize that you are suffering, okay? When you are going from your hundredaire into your thousandaire to your millionaire into your billionaire, you will not necessarily notice it because it's the capitalism pacifies you with comfort. America, they're good with giving you comfort, child, so you don't realize that you're going against your own spirit. It's very gradual. That's why the Bible calls it serpentine. The serpent is very gradual. And there's a term for this in psychology. It's called the golden handcuff, okay? You don't realize how much you've changed until you sit in silence and think back. It's almost like you don't recognize yourself from when you used to be a millionaire till when you were a broke college kid. It's almost like these are two different people. And you only recognize this if you sit in stillness. But capitalism doesn't let you sit in stillness. It keeps pumping all kinds of distractions, Like it's almost so much distraction because once you are in the world is reeking of distractions to keep you pacified. And, a capitalist nation like the U.S. would definitely do that for you. There's drugs, alcohol, women, men, whatever, pornography, whatever it is that you're into. Because now you have money, you have power to access those things. Again, those demons come out to play, but you have to sit in silence with yourself. Once you sit in silence with yourself, you come to realize the you as a millionaire is different from the you when you were broke. The you as a billionaire is different from you as a millionaire and you as a thousandaire and whatever, whatever the situation is. But essentially, that is the golden handcuff. Your mind has warped gradually. You don't even realize that you are suffering at that moment. Another spiritual perspective you can look at it from as well is that your karma is inducing suffering. The more you climb this elusive capitalist, whatever the situation, to bring you down, to suggest to you, you cannot be like God. Only God can be God. You cannot be God. This is because the more you keep climbing, the more you have to go against your soul or, your highest, purest form. Friedrich Nietzsche calls it the Übermensch, or the Holy Spirit, or the sensus divinitatis, whatever it is you want to call it. Every single one of us were born with it. We can even go deeper as to why that is. It's because of your karma, but it's still your very most truest self, the person you have to become. Again, the serpent tries to morph that thing gradually, okay, by suggesting things to you gradually. That's why it's called the golden handcuff. But the more you climb, the more you have to do things that are against that thing. Most people don't realize this, okay? We think riches, millionaires and things like that is really it. No. The millionaires are still slaves like us, but the billionaires, to be a billionaire, okay, in America, in my opinion, your hands are probably not as clean. You've done a whole lot of things that don't sit well with your Übermensch or with your truest self or with your Holy Spirit. You will not necessarily realize it right there and then, but it starts very gradually. That's why as a serpent, it's very gradually. The billionaire will only recognize it when they sit in stillness. But even at that, it's very, very, very unlikely that a billionaire will sit in stillness to look back at their life because of the distraction that they of this world that they have consumed so much. This is why, once again, the Bible said it's easier for a camel to make it through the eye of the needle than for a rich man to make it to heaven. I don't even know if I'm making any sense, Chad, but if you know, you know. So, in the case of P. Diddy, this will be a perfect example as to what happens, okay? I'm sure these feelings have been in P. Diddy all his life, but he hasn't necessarily acted upon them because he was just a regular black boy and God knows where, I don't know where it's from, Brooklyn or whatever the situation is. He didn't have the privilege to act on it. But gradually, more power means more privilege. And he can dabble into this and dabble into that and get away with it and get away with it and gradually become so desensitized because now you're a billionaire. Who is above me? No one is above me. You have the power and doors open because you have money. And, to the point that you don't realize if maybe now PDD, is sitting in jail or in prison or in court. I don't know where he's at right now. And he's in stillness. He will not be able to recognize himself 20 years ago. But that's even him getting arrested right now is his karma. His karma is making him, here to help him force him to be still, okay? Because without the karma forcing him to be still in being arrested, he will probably still be very much susceptible to the distractions and not realize that he has gone astray from who he is. So him getting arrested right now is a blessing. That is your karma or his karma helping save him. So hopefully he recognizes it and sits in stillness and, that stillness will induce an egoless state without any distraction, and he'll come to see how far he has strayed, if that makes any sense. But the point is, the reason why PDD was able to do all those things, that he's being charged with is because he's human. His demons just happens to be the one that is sexually deviant in nature. But this is human. Your demon may not necessarily be one that is sexually deviant in nature, but the point is that you're still human. And as a human being, you are a fallen being or a reduced form of being. And part of that is fallibility. If you choose to call that fallibility demons in this situation, then you have your demon as well. Your demon is not any better or worse than his. The more you climb the ladder of capitalism, the more these demons come out to play because who's going to check me? For P. Diddy, his demon is sexual deviance. Yours might be, I don't know, drugs. Somebody else's might be alcohol. You see people overdose all the time, right? Another person's might be, I don't know, vanity, where it's all about the big flashy cars and private jets. I got to let people know who I have and what I have and things like that. That is your demon. It is indicative of a human, the human consciousness or the human being as a fallible being. It's not any better than his. His is not any worse than yours either. Somebody else might be food. The bigger you get, the more food you love. And who's going to check me? Of course, vanity in America means that you have to be proper and primed. But a lot of people still have the demons of food, which is why Ozempic is becoming very big right now. All the celebrities, they want to eat and have their cake, literally and figuratively, Chad. Ozempic is going up and that, Chad, that bubble is about to bust. Ooh, girl. So everything that is happening to PDD is indicative of the world we live in, the current state of the world we live in, capitalism, to show you like you are seeing it. What is wrong with capitalism, why you need to be careful to not fall prey to the illusion of capitalism, because that could easily become you. And if you become a PDD, that is you being lucky, okay? Like that's your karma helping you out so that you don't die in perversion. Because if you die in perversion, you die in hell. So this is your karma helping you out to wake you up. Like, dude, sit in this jail cell and think about yourself. Are you sure you want to continue the rest of your life like this? But another issue that I have with this world is how everyone is criticizing P. Diddy. Everyone is ready to cast their stone. R. Kelly included, Epstein included, all these people included, which makes me sad because that tells me that you don't understand the human mind. You do not understand. You are not better than these people at all, okay? Because again, the same thing that makes them human makes you human. The only factor that is different is that he has privilege that you don't have. Who's to say what will become of your demons if you had the privilege? that he had, and bless the heavens that you don't have the privilege that he has, because your karma will induce enough suffering to keep you here. So the fact that you're not humble enough to put yourself in a situation, the shoes of a fallen brother, shows lack of emotional intelligence. And this is one of the things that I find extremely unattractive about people, which I understand if you're one of the people who don't believe in God. But if you say you believe in God, especially as a Christian, like, how is it Christian for you to be judging P. Diddy? Let he who is without sin cast the first stone. And that's what the Bible said. If unless you're clean, like super fucking uber clean, which I know you ain't, bitch. You know what I'm saying? You should not be casting no stones. And this is a moment for you to be one with your brethren. Okay, you don't have to agree with him. You don't have to, of course, what he did is we can philosophize that is wrong. But you should at least put yourself in the situation of your brother, him as your brother, as in like extend the same love you would like to be extended if you were to be in his situation, and see that his spirit is probably very weak, and extend some love and healing and prayer and whatever it is you want to extend to him, as you want to be extended to if you were to be in his situation. This is your moment to prove that you are a Christian. This is your moment to prove that you believe in God, to extend love to a fallen brother, not judge them. Like, and this is why I don't fuck with a lot of people, Chad. This world, I swear this is not even real. But anyway, that's my take on P. Diddy. Maybe I'll go much deeper during the live to break it down. You know, I know it seemed like I was rambling a bit, but shout out to all the real spiritual people who see the mathematics of all the things that I'm saying. Iykyk, peace and love.